it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching The Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 15, The Summit. This is the penultimate episode of Season 2, maybe of the whole show ever. I obviously don't know for certain, but it does feel like the show is reaching potentially an ending. I am very excited. I'm actually watching this the day it comes out. It will go up to Patreon a couple of days after this, and then unedited, and then edited a week later. YouTube will be getting this 2 weeks after. But I'm like watching The Bad Batch live. It's very exciting. Let's go.
Infiltration. We can plant a homing beacon on Hemlock's ship and track him to his base.
And to Crosshair.
It won't be that simple. We'd be at a tactical disadvantage, and I'm not sure it's worth the risk.
I understand your hesitation. We have not always agreed with Crosshair, but he is still our brother. We do not leave our own behind.
If there's a chance to get him back, we have to take it.
I really do respect them, and I love that the fact that they are still like supporting him after he picked the Empire over them. But like, in real life, as much as I do believe obviously in family, and I am 1000% pro we're doing this mission, they're getting Crosshair out of here, so don't ever think I'm trying to say we shouldn't be doing this mission. Like, I mean, my only sister is 21 years younger than me, but like, if she one day joined a group that she knew had just committed genocide and she was happily joining them, I don't know that, I mean, even there should be limits to your family bonding. You know, there should be a point where you're like, we're family, but you know, you've kind of gone too far, you know. But I also do think that given the scenario, given the situation here, they should go after him. But I don't like the argument of, we're brothers, that's why we should go for him. Like, no, not necessarily. Like, are all of your lives worth a brother that joined somebody that had just committed genocide on the Kaminoans and was like, I'm gonna go join them, because that's what Crosshair did. I think that it's slightly more complex, but they should be saying, you know, like, we know him, we know that he had the chip in his head, that wasn't his fault, and then he was struggling, you know, and I just feel like the argument of, he's our brother, they need to explain it a bit more, be like, you know, he was struggling, we need to give him this, like, one last chance, or whatever. And Hunter being like, well, this could well be a trap to get us. And given that they don't even know right now that they want Omega, but we know they do, you know, it's frustrating. Like, just because he's your brother, he joined a genocidal empire knowing they were genocidal. It's not black and white, he's our brother, we've got to save him. It's also not black and white, he joined them, we've got to not save him, because there is a lot of complexities with Crosshair. But just, come on, guys.
Definitely.
Oh, you were just going to leave without saying goodbye.
That is correct. This mission should not involve either.
That's not exactly what I was getting at.
If you like him how he is. I've suddenly got very stressed that we might lose one of them in this mission. This is just not going to be a simple la-di-da, stroll in, stick a tracker on, leave again, is it? Everything's going to go wrong because it's the finale. Two-part finale, I'm stressed. This looks like a fun gathering.
Now that we're all
Using a clearance code Rex and I acquired from one of our contacts.
Oh god.
Back, Echo.
It
Just
is.
like old times.
It really is.
Wrecker, man the tail gun. Just in case. You got it.
clear for approach.
Surely they'll be suspicious if it's a vessel that there was no need for it to come, it wasn't on part of any planned mission. Clearance code or no.
No tanks and no explosions this time, Wrecker.
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
This mission, ideally, no one will even know we were ever here. It's obviously not going to go that way.
But I estimate only 30 seconds for us to clear the zone before
It's got to be enough. We need them to not know anything is happening. The way they all just turned, like.
The sensor is down. Move in.
Go, 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 go. Don't look down, Wrecker. Or any of you. Well, I think they're going to know we were here. And I know that kind of can't be avoided, but surely they'll search their ships for any kind of homing beacons or anything. Especially if they're able to identify who has come. He'd be like, oh, I have their brother.
Once we fully unlock the secrets,
He is a very unnerving man.
I have found a new purpose for them. test subjects to aid in my research. That's a solution that solves a number of problems.
Disgusting.
And these clones have agreed to your experimentation?
Seriously?
They are Imperial property.
I served with the clones for many years. They're cunning warriors, loyal to the end.
No, you're gonna be losing your position soon.
Dismiss them out of hand.
And we will deal with them swiftly and
And yeah, it's really interesting to see at this early stage there are still people that are viewing this empire like it's a legitimate business and not a fascist dictatorship. How stupid can you be?
Yes.
Because by this point, in the high-ranking positions they're in, word has gotten around about various shenanigans that the Empire has done that were highly unethical, and this is just the latest one.
I'll monitor the
They're
security
gonna figure out that you've, like, surely they'll be... I'm just so stressed, like, I don't know how you see I both don't see this going well, because I feel like they'll just look, well, there's a homing beacon on our ship, or this knob shouldn't be here, or whatever, and then the other part of me is like, but surely the finale has got to be them attacking the base and freeing the clones and reuniting with Crosshair. I just don't know.
Surveillance systems have had cycled deactivations in various corridors.
That is highly irregular, considering the number of top-ranking Imperial officers present.
Tech, let's check it out.
Does
Keep an eye on
Hemlock...
things.
Is Hemlock expecting us? One thing before we get into the stress of whatever's going to happen just next. Given that this infiltration is going to be found out, there are various dead troopers and like people tied up and whatever, they almost need to do some random other damage before they leave, steal some random information so that it can be like, oh, they came and attacked because they wanted XYZ. They didn't take anything. Because otherwise that's too suspicious. I mean, that's very obvious. If they look for it, they'll find that instantly. Like if they search the ship for anything amiss.
Surveillance systems appear to be offline in Sector 4.
Yeah.
What?
That's not us.
In camera.
Is someone else doing something here? Is it not a trap, but just some other shenanigans? Is this Rex's mission? Could you imagine?
This quadrant of the...
Someone is targeting this base.
Oof.
One charge will not cause much damage.
Good thing we have more.
More rebels.
Didn't expect to find you two here.
Saw Guerrera.
I
Hoo-hoo-hoo.
told you on Onderon you had a choice to make. Compound, along with all the Imperials inside.
We do actually need Hemlock to get on his shuttle and go find our brother.
Tracking one of the officers.
You considered that by destroying this facility, you are wiping out any chance to gather intel that could help your cause.
Taking out several of their top commanders is a good start.
They would just replace them.
Victory will be short-lived, as their ranks will quickly be replenished.
Maybe so.
Thing is, he's always been very short-sighted, hasn't he?
For the greater
Saul Guerrero has never been very good at seeing the bigger picture. He's always like, I go, I blow up, I kill. That gets me all the missions I need. And there are times when he's right, and there are times when he's wrong.
Resume momentarily. Take your seats, gentlemen.
I enjoy that Hemlock was the only one who didn't stand up.
We are perfectly safe.
I feel it. Very concerned that they're all going to get caught. Multiple missions a go at once. And let me guess, the room that the commanders are in is secured. Does it feel real powerful blowing shit up? You basically just achieved some infrastructure damage. Good job, Saul. This is just so wonderful. Well done, Saul Guerrero. You did a great job today. And he never freaking learns from his mistakes, from his ineffectual everything. It has literally just occurred to me that the summit took place at the summit of the mountain. Oh, my loves. Okay, so maybe the finale is not going to be them going after Crosshair. Maybe they're not even going to get that far. This was another very good episode, a very good infiltration episode. I felt very stressed throughout it. I really felt like in this episode, for the first time in a little while, that maybe we could actually lose one of them going forwards. So stressful. And I love the fact that to begin with, I was like, oh my god, Hemlock knew about them. He's 10 steps ahead. But it was actually just a totally separate rebellion mission. It would have been hilarious if it was Rex, but I do enjoy that it was a different rebel that we do know about. And it was very in keeping with Saul Guerrero's character. And I know I'm very harsh on him. And I'm going to continue to be very harsh on him. Because he's very small picture, but he thinks he's seeing the big picture, if that makes sense. whenever he's always like, no, I'm just gonna go there, I'm gonna shoot everyone and blow everything up. And everyone's like, yeah, but what if we do this other thing that maybe will be slightly less effective in the short term, but will be really, really effective like 2 months later? And he's like, no, blowing up now by. It's really frustrating, but it's very in keeping with his character. You know, in this, they would have been able to track back to the top secret science base. They might have been able to stop Hemlock, free loads of clones, stop the cloning experiment, stop the Empire's super secret science. Instead, he blew up the mountain, knowing there was another mission going on, knowing he was disrupting the Batch's mission, and knowing that they hadn't even been able to get to the command center to set the detonations to try and blow up the people they were actually targeting. So all he did was cause some infrastructure damage to the Empire, kill some stormtroopers who will be replaced instantly, even if his plan has succeeded. You think the Empire cares about any of the men in that room? The only one they genuinely would have felt the loss of is the scientist, because he's apparently a scientific genius that they needed. Like, it's such a short-sighted plan. And you can really see, to be honest, like, even the Batch's plan, I'll admit it's not the greatest plan, it's not the most foolproof plan, it's not a particularly long picture plan, because it is quite literally just save our brother, but at least there is a positive, like, if we do this, we will have saved people, whereas all that Guerrero did was blow some stuff up and kill some people, and not even the people he was targeting. But it was a good moment of like, whoa, hey, because it's sort of, at the moment when you have a rebellion or different sort of rebel factions operating so apart from each other, there are going to be times when you turn up to the same thing and you've got different plans and different missions. It has left us in a very, very stressful situation. I kind of hope Guerrero is going to be like, oh, right, I did kind of do that thing that caused them to be in trouble. Maybe I could swing by in my ship and pick him up. At the very least, that he could do that, but I also could see him just driving off into the sunset. Good episode, stressful episode. It was also really interesting to see the Empire at this point is not yet completely full of just yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. It's full of, are you sure about that? Oh, yes sir. You know, I mean, it's still full of shit people. And obviously I will acknowledge that, like, I don't know what I would do in that situation to be scared for your own life. I'm not trying to say like, oh, I would just be so brave if I was if I was there. But it's so interesting to me that you've got people being like, oh, the clones did fight for us. They were very brave. I quite liked them. Should we take away all their rights again and experiment on them? Well, you mean, have you not heard about every other atrocity the Empire's committed recently? Of course they're going to do that, sir. It's just interesting to see the Empire at this early stage has not yet become what it could have been, but it's already a force that is going to be so difficult to take down. Good episode. Stress for the finale. Reminder that you can find the unedited version of all of these reactions on my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.